Yeah, Jared, I guess just kind of the process of coming back this year and what you feel like you've really worked on and improved on this off season to become that player that you feel like you can be. What has that process been like for you?
Yeah, I think it started, right at the end of last year in the regional loss to North Carolina. I got home, hung out with my family for a little bit, kind of reconnected with them. And then it was right back to work preparing for, what was either going to be, professional baseball or another year at LSU. After the draft process, came and went, and I decided to come back to LSU, moved back down. I'm living with Monster Milam, so it's me and him together in a house, and I've just been here ever since, just hitting in the cages, working defensively at first base, really trying to work on swing decisions, plate discipline, and just being a consistent player day in and day out.
With there being a ton of less room to work with in foul territory now, how have you sort of tried to adjust that? I know they were kind of doing construction during the fall. Like, have you sort of figured out how to deal with that defensively?
We haven't had too much practice with it yet because obviously they just officially got it almost 100% done. So we haven't played too much, with the new boundaries, I guess you would call it. But I think, as long as the catchers and my dugout does a good job communicating with me on, how much room I have to go over there, I think I'll be all right.
I'm not sure how much you care about this or not, but the preseason recognition, I think you probably expect more. I think we expect that you would get more. Do you care about that at all, and does it motivate you to prove any doubters you might have wrong?
No. I wasn't the highest rated guy coming out of high school. I was ranked somewhere. I wasn't the, I've been on great teams my whole life, whether that was in travel ball or high school. I've had an older brother who taught me what humility meant, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be at LSU, to put on this uniform, to wear these colors, and that's what really matters to me. And the rankings and who I am as a player by myself really doesn't have any effect on me. It's just kind of what we do as a team and the year that we have together.
I think you heard Cade, use the phrase, the guys that Jay brought in a couple of times. You've seen enough LSU baseball. What does this team look like to you, and do you feel like it has the right makeup?
Absolutely. I think Coach Johnson has a line that he says a lot, that winning will never be more important to the team in the other dugout than it is to us. And I truly believe that this year we have the right group of guys that are competitive, talented, athletic, fast, powerful. And we've done a really good job of coming together this fall and early spring, and we will continue to build that rapport with one another and the camaraderie, and just take that into the season one day at a time.
Yeah, what part of your game did you feel like you developed the most last year? And then going into this year, what did you feel like this is where I need to take another jump?
Yeah, definitely. I think plate discipline and swing decisions was great for me. Moving through the year last year, I think I got better for sure, as far as just being a consistent player with that too, as well as taking my walks, working the count. This year it's going to be, just another level of that, how much more can I walk? How many more extra base hits can I have? Moving the offense with 2 strikes, cutting down on my swing and miss. It's easier said than done. It's going to take a lot of work, but those are definitely, some of the things that I've highlighted.
Jared, it's probably a little cliche to say, but have you noticed a difference in this offseason being the hunter versus last season being the hunted with you and your teammates?
Yeah, that's a great question. My freshman year, I was super blessed. We won a national championship. Not everybody gets it that easy their first year. And Cade Beloso actually told me that after the national championship, when we were kind of celebrating and wrapping things up, he was like, remember this, because it doesn't happen like this every year. And the way things ended last year definitely left a sour taste in my mouth. And for the 12 guys or so that are back on the team from that last year's team, we've talked a lot about it. It's definitely a motivating factor for us. And we're just going to use that as fuel and kind of just take it one day at a time.
Jared, a lot of changeover on the roster, a lot of new players. How important is team chemistry, everyone getting to know each other, morphing as a team these next 3 weeks before you start playing?
It's everything. We've got 56 games in the regular season with each other, and that's all we're guaranteed, And sometime in July, the season will come to an end, and I'll never be able to put on the uniform with some of these guys that I've put on a uniform with for 3 years. And the closer that we are together, the more together that we can be, the tougher we are together, the better we will play, the more confidence we'll have on the field, and the better outcomes we'll be able to produce.
What have you seen from Daniel Dickinson? I know he hasn't been here long, but what do you see on the dirt and offensively as well from him?
Yeah, just a super confident guy. I think one of the tougher kids on the team. He's been through a lot. He's from the West Coast, so obviously him and I grew up, very different, with me being from Marietta, Georgia, and him being from Washington. But he's come in, he's worked his butt off. He knows he belongs here, and we all know it as well. And I think you're going to see that. You're going to see somebody who's very tough, plays 100% every play, no matter what.
It's before your time, but are you familiar with Eddie Furness's career here?
I am.
Okay. Y'all got kind of a similar build. Is that a guy you've known about for a while?
It's not, honestly. I wasn't from Louisiana, so obviously LSU baseball was something I had to learn about and was new to me going through the recruiting process. And since I've been here, I've met a ton of past players and a ton of great people and great human beings. And, I just try to represent them in the right way and respect what they left here at LSU and do the same and just build off of that.
Did you meet him?
I have not met him yet.
Still some decisions to be made as far as who plays third, second, and shortstop. What's your perspective been like over the fall and the early portion, I guess, of the winter here, of how those guys are looking at the different positions?
Yeah, I think depth, is going to be huge for us this year. I think Cade Anderson hit on it. We've got 3 teams that could probably go out there and compete at a very high level. That goes all the way to 18-year-old freshmen all the way to 23-year-old seniors. So we have a very diverse lineup, a very depthy team, and whoever's in those positions, they know that that's their job for that day, and they're going to go out there and give it their all.
Kate had mentioned you kind of developing into a leadership role. I'm wondering, is that something you took stock in returning and realized that was something you're going to have to do, or is it just kind of coming naturally?
A little bit of both. Like I've hit on it before, I'm the youngest of 5, so I've got 4 older siblings, and I've kind of got to learn through them and their experiences. I was always in high school, one of the better players on my team, so it was always people looked at me to be more of a leadership role. And I care a lot about this sport and this university, and so for me, any way that I can help somebody going through something that I've been through, lean on somebody when I need to, just being a good human being and being a good teammate day in and day out.
Obviously, a lot of turnover with the pitching staff. Does that help you, I guess, going back to the fall, facing a bunch of new guys for the first time, because it's going to be what you're seeing a lot in the springtime? Just talk about that, and then just maybe some of the guys that have really stood out to you on the mound that you faced. Yeah,
I think we have a fantastic staff. Absolutely, it helps me a lot. I don't know if I've had a very successful fall here since I've been at LSU. They've pretty much owned me for the 3 years that I've been here, and a lot of credit to them. Coach Yeski's been here for the past 2 years working with them, and they've grown a lot in those 2 years. And then obviously with the new guys who, like guys like Connor Ware, Anthony Ianson, who are both transferred in, didn't know what to expect out of them, had heard great things, and then for them to live up to that, it's really awesome to see.
What's Monster like as a roommate?
At first, it was a little hectic. We have 3 dogs with us as well. So, a couple times we came home from practice, things had been chewed up or, all messy all around the house. So we had some cleaning up to do, but it's been great. And, I love him, and I'm really excited to be playing another season with him.
Coach compared the situation with the offense to Moneyball, where, Tommy White leaving, you can't just replace him with one guy. Who are some players that you think could surprise us and be good power hitters for you this year to replace some of those home runs?
Yeah, that's a great baseball movie. It's one of my favorites. I would say Blaze Priester obviously is a guy that stood out to everybody on the team, led the team in home runs in the fall, hit one already in live at-bats last week. So he's a guy that I think everyone's going to have an eye on for us. 4th-year player in college, has been around the game for a long time, super mature, and goes about his business the right way. Luis Hernandez, I think he'll probably get a good bit of time behind the plate. And if not, probably a good bit of time at DH. He swings the bat really well, plays with, a high motor and a lot of confidence. And, John Pearson, a guy who obviously his older brother Josh has been here for 4 years, and he looks up to him, and that's his guy, and he's going to be here and wants to play for LSU. It means a lot to him to be here, and I think he's going to have a really successful career.
I asked Coach about Maverick. You're a big guy. What's it like to go up against a 6'9" guy on the mound? You've had with Chase, right? But what does this guy bring to the team as a freshman?
Yeah, he's been spectacular for us in the fall so far and throughout the spring, and I'm looking forward to seeing him grow in his career and his role here. He is a very, very big guy. There's not often times I have to look up to people, and him and Chase are two of the bigger people I've met in my life. Very similar on the mound, sinker baller type pitchers, throw very hard, get down the mound, big bodies, and one, it's intimidating. It's like facing Randy Johnson or something. And two, he's just a very competitive human being. He's got an edge to him on the mound, and he's really going to get after it and compete. Thank you.